some of the most exciting racing motorsport fans will see in Canada. A crowd pleaser. Production cars that perform consistently well under a variety of racing conditions. A series for veteran race car drivers and promising newcomers. The Players Challenge Series for GM cars, the most successful series ever launched in Canada. The Players Challenge Series for GM cars, by far the richest showroom stock series in Canada. $475,000 in prize and bonus money. The cars from General Motors, Chevrolet IROC-Z Camaros, and Pontiac Trans Am Firebirds, all mechanically identical and showroom stock, making driver skills all important in this very competitive series. In 1987, the Players Challenge was seen in major markets across Canada. In the West, Calgary, at 2 separate and impressive racetracks. And on the West Coast, at Westwood, British Columbia, just outside Vancouver. And in the East, Montreal and Mont-Tremblant in Quebec. Shannonville, Cayuga, and Motorsport Park in Ontario, and in Toronto, alongside the Molson Indy.
It's really the closest thing to showroom stock racing that I've seen. The fact that it only needs $50,000 to $60,000 a year to campaign, which may sound like a lot to some people, but by racing standards, that's just a drop in the bucket. And it's an opportunity for some drivers to get some good experience. And I would feel free to say that along the way, some great drivers are going to look back and say, I got started in the Players Challenge Series.
In the 87 Challenge for GM cars, an impressive lineup of drivers, including Peter Lockhart, veteran Formula 2000, Trans Am, and IMSA competitor, and now in a Bob Johnston Team Chevrolet Camaro, 1987 Players Challenge Series champion.
A very competitive series is the one to be in, and the Players Challenge is it.
For the Motormaster team, in an Applewood Chevrolet Camaro, Richard Spinard, 4th place finisher in the 1987 Players Challenge Series and 1986 Players Challenge East winner. Last year, Spinard won more money racing strictly in Canada than any other competitor in Canadian history.
Well, I think it's very impressive because, you know, if you consider the price of the car, the speed we attain on the back straight here, which is completely uphill, you know, it's a real steep hill, and we're clocked at the top of the hill a little bit over 200K, which is, I think, very impressive.
And up-and-coming young driver Randy McDonald in a Pontiac Firebird, 1987 Rookie of the Year in the Players Challenge East. And Lindsay Riddell in a Firebird. In the West, with Vancouver's Town Centre racing team, Frank Allers, the winner of the 1987 Players Challenge Series West, driving a Camaro.
I think it's just great. The Players and GM have just done a fantastic job. It's the best thing that's ever happened to motorsport in the West, that's for sure.
And from Calgary, the Financial Trust team, Paul Gilgan in a Pontiac Firebird, 1982 Rookie of the Year, and now 2nd place finisher in the 1987 Players Challenge West Series. And Alan Berg in a Chevrolet Camaro.
I think it's a good series. I think that it's very competitive. It's good for racing to have a professional series like this with high-profile sponsors involved, such as Players and GM. I think that it's going to be good for the drivers, local drivers, to have a good series to run in that has decent prize money for them to pick up at the end of the weekend, so you're going to get a lot more entries.
The Players Challenge Series for GM cars is presented by General Motors of Canada and Players in association with Goodyear Canada and Penman's. And for teams and drivers, a wide range of sponsors including secret pantyhose, ICG propane and Centauré's auto, electronic data systems, just to name a few.
The series has really matured this year and come along very, very successfully, and I think in many circles is regarded as the premier road racing series here in Canada. Out west, it's been more successful than I had dreamed. We had an incredible response from the Western enthusiasts and press.
The series has attracted media coverage nationally and internationally. Over 30 hours of television coverage alone, hitting every major market.
The first stop in the 6-race Players Challenge Series West went today under less than ideal conditions at Westwood Park in Coquitlam. 26 drivers took to the 1.8-mile track this afternoon, but almost right from the first lap it seemed to be a one-man show starring Coquitlam's Frank Allers.
Some people want to fly and others want to burn up the track in a racing car. Get ready for the roar of the engines as reporter Bob Gillingham tries out the world of fast cars and the people who drive them.
Over 2 million fans watch the Players Challenge Series for GM cars on CTV's Wide World of Sports.
From Exhibition Place, Toronto, Ontario, CTV's Wide World of Sports brings you the fourth leg of the 1987 Players Challenge Series for General Motorsports sedans. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ron Rush, along with Chris Economaki here in Toronto. Chris, this is truly a driver's series.
You know, exactly. The specifications of the cars are the same, the power is the same. The only real difference is the paint job, so the driver's going to make the difference. And as much of a driver's race it is, it's a fan's race as well, because the fans can identify with these Camaros and Firebirds, the kind they see in their driveway, and park to the curb. They're going to love it.
We think it's an outstanding way for General Motors of Canada to introduce to the race enthusiasts the performance products that we have in the marketplace today. And no better way to be able to do that than to have stock showroom cars racing on the tracks throughout Canada. In the Camaro, IROC, Z cars, and the Pontiac Trans Ams are just outstanding values, and to see them perform at the heavy-duty schedule they have to do in this series is indicative of the quality of the product that we have in the market today.
Professional drivers pushing themselves and their production Camaros and Firebirds to the limit. The enthusiasm and dedication of the fans. All this makes participation in the series a source of satisfaction and pride. The Players Challenge Series for GM cars. Motorsport at its best.